Funeno Guinea, you know what I mean? Jifurare Tengene, you know what I mean? I did really meli kudene, you know what I mean? You put boy pull up to the socks, you know what I'm saying? Waka for by you, hey, Unano Palogene, wake one boy to buy you, and one gene, get it, tell me, every day you get it, I think get it, tell me, hey, every day you get it. For champagne, but tell them up me. We will win, but the bunch of me. He can watch us or no, if I can address him, I get tantalizer for appetizer. She did the more from Bolaria. Because if you take any vocal, or never keeping the local, my people is a limo jazzy, living me like a hover. Me, my little man, and the social.
Africa. Many countries in Africa have regional unique ways of dressing. These styles are known to be the products of long-lasting textile craft in weaving, hand weaving, dyeing, and printing. This is because African traditional clothing is diverse and differs from country to country. Over time, the westernized style of dressing has all been incorporated into African traditional clothing. Yet, Africans have retained dressings that speak of ancient cultural traditions and heritage. If you have ever been to any traditional African event, one of the first things you will notice is the elegant and bright display of traditional African clothing. This often adds color and elegance to the already energetic scenes. Traditional African clothing represents one of the biggest symbols of the continent's rich cultural heritage and diversity. Across the continent, different ethnic groups have their identifying traditional African clothing. They mostly wear these clothes for special occasions, traditional festivals, and special events. However, some creative designers are now combining traditional African clothing with other materials to make unique designs. Though traditional African clothes are becoming everyday wear, often these dresses reflect the traditional society and the status of certain individuals or groups within an ethnic group. Apart from their elegance, only one of these traditional African clothes can help you to connect to your roots. All traditional African clothing fairly represents all regions of the continent. Here are some African traditional clothing and their origins you would love to know. 1. Kente. Kente is native to the Akan tribe in Ghana, and it's a type of silk and cotton fabric that is made of interwoven cloth strips. It is an Akan royal and sacred cloth, traditionally worn only in times of extreme importance, and was the cloth of kings. Ghanaian royalties wore the fabric in a toga-like fashion. The cloth is woven in a narrow strip called tomamba or banko. It is about 3 to 5 inches wide and about 5 to 6 feet long. Kente is made up of meaningful aesthetic designs that communicate meanings through its colors. The gold color symbolizes serenity and status. The yellow color symbolizes fertility. The green symbolizes renewal. The blue symbolizes pure spirit and harmony. The red, passion, and the black, a union with ancestors or spiritual awareness. Today, it has received a new layer of significance when adopted by the Western and modern world. 2. Asoki or Asoki. Asoki fabric is a hand-woven cloth created by the Yoruba people of West Africa. To the native Yoruba women of Nigeria, Asoki is more than just a fabric. The original version of the dress features 5 pieces. There is the iro or iro, a large wrapper tied to fit around the waist. Boba or buba is a loose blouse worn on the upper parts of the body. Gele is a head tie which Nigerian women are globally famous for. The pele is a short fabric tied on top of the iro around the waist. The iburon is a scarf that drapes over the left shoulder. However, trendsetters are doing away with the pele and iburon, replacing the traditional asoki with other fabric such as lace, cotton, or chiffon. 3. Bubu. The bubu is a classic, stylish and functional Senegalese robe worn by men and women all over Africa. Sewn from one piece of fabric, it is usually about 150 cm wide and varying lengths depending on the wearer's height and preference. Also, there is more elegant grand bubu, which employs 300 cm long fabrics and reaches to the ankles. Traditionally, designers make bubus by folding the fabric in half, cutting out a neck opening, and sewing up the sides halfway up to make flowing sleeves along the side. For women, the neck is rounded and large. Men, on the other hand, have theirs long and V-shaped. Habesha Kemis. The Habesha Kemis is an African traditional clothing belonging to the Habeshan women of Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Habesha Kemis is usually a robe that stretches from the neck to the ankles. Ethiopian and Eritrean women rock it for formal events and vacations. Nowadays, it comes in various forms, including short or long sleeves. It typically comes in gray, beige or white shades, and it is sewn from cotton fabric. Gilaba or Gilaba. The Gilaba is a long, loose-fitting unisex robe. It is usually full-sleeved and worn also in the Maghreb region of North Africa. Traditionally, the main material for designing Gilabas is wool. However, these days, lightweight cotton Gilabas have become trendy. Gilabas often sweep the ground. Lightweight variants are often slimmer and shorter. Men wear light-colored Gilabas along with an Arab fez hat and babouche footwear for religious festivals and other occasions. Shoka. Shoka is traditional African clothing that belongs to the Maasai people of Tanzania and Kenya, often called the African blanket. It is often red with black stripes. Before the colonization of Tanzania and Kenya by the Scottish, high-ranking community members wore shoka as a traditional garment. Today, it is also gaining traction as urban wear. Workers wear a variant of this traditional clothing to their places of work. Previously, only the Maasai originally wore shoka. However, this traditional African cloth is now gaining acceptance all over the globe. Dashiki. Dashiki is African traditional clothing. There are also colorful garments that cover the upper parts of the body. Dashiki is a unisex loose-fitting shirt, long or full-sleeved, with an embroidered V-shaped collar, a loose-fitting pull-over tunic, traditionally worn in West African culture that was adopted by the African diasporic communities as a symbol of African heritage in the 1960s, and then more widely worn as a popular African wear. They also come in many colors and forms. Africans wear dashikis with drawstring pants for formal or informal occasions. Although once common in West African nations, Africans and blacks in the West now wear them. Dashikis are stylish, colorful, and easily point the wearer back to their roots. Guava. Guava is a popular dress among the Zulus. Guava is a traditional shirt worn by betrothed or married women in South Africa. It is usually made from genuine leather, which could either be cowhide or goatskin. The lady adorns it with colorful mat-like fabric. Since the 19th century, when it came into existence, Guava has maintained its form and design among the Zulus. Traditionally, fathers of brides give out Guava to their daughters from the cow the bride gets during her coming of age ceremony. Subsequently, she has to wear the skirt on the day of her marriage. Isiegu. The Isiegu finds its roots among the Igbo people of southeast Nigeria. Isiegu literally translates to the head of a leopard. However, it will surprise you to see that the cloth has the head of a lion. The lion is taking over the totem reserved for the leopard. The Isiegu marries a silk fabric with the head of a lion emblazoned in a definite pattern. It is a long, loose-fitting top, usually worn over a pair of black trousers or knitted wrappers tied around the waist. Interestingly, the Isiegu is also a status symbol among Igbo men. They wear it for formal occasions such as coronations, traditional meetings, and funerals for chiefs. It used to be an abomination for women to wear Isiegu. However, millennials have changed that narrative. Some even use it to make their wedding dress. You can belong to the elite group of traditional African by wearing Isiegu. Kaftan. Kaftan is usually made of cotton brocade, silk, lace or synthetic fabrics that may be worn with a sash. They are found in several cultures and regions, especially in North and Western Africa. The kaftan is often worn as a coat or as an overdress, usually having long sleeves and reaching to the ankles, while it is worn as a lightweight, loosen-fitting garment in some regions that have a warm climate. The uses or names of kaftan vary from culture to culture. In a Turkic kaftan, while in West Africa, a kaftan is a pullover robe worn by both men and women, and the women's robe is called a kaftan, while the men's garment is referred to as a Senegalese kaftan. It is noteworthy to note that traditional African clothing continues to hold deep ethnic meanings to date. They also embody the cultural heritage and diversity of Africa. Although the sternness around who can wear them has diminished over the years, they are still highly valued. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.